A man tried to kill his SUV on purpose. No oil, full throttle, desert heat in 2003, and the engine still refused to die. Mechanics begged it to fail, it kept running. Neighbors filmed it. Forums went wild, and the legend grew louder than logic then. These are 9 Japanese SUVs that never break down. Built to survive everything, even sabotage. How? Let's see why. 9. Mazda CX-50, 2025. The 2025 Mazda CX-50 starts near $38,045, but it behaves like it costs far more. This SUV landed in a crowded market, yet Mazda gave it a clear identity. Premium feel, serious traction, and an attitude that whispers overbuilt, not overpriced. Every trim includes standard all-wheel drive. That decision alone separates it from the crowd. The base 2.5-liter engine is smooth, reliable, and safe for daily life. But the turbo version at 340 horsepower and 369 pound-feet changes the story. Car and driver clocked 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5.8 seconds. For comparison, in the mid-90s, that number belonged to sports cars, not family SUVs. Mazda did not build this alone. The CX-50 comes out of a joint plant with Toyota in Alabama, where quality rules are strict and standards stubborn. Early owners, stacked across forums and road logs, report 30,000 to 40,000 miles with little drama beyond routine wear. J.D. Power scores Mazda at 82 out of 100, listed as great, which gives confidence without exaggeration. Then you sit inside. Nappa leather, real wood trim, soft lighting, and tactile controls that feel human, not cheap or rushed. The IIHS safety ratings add real peace of mind, especially if long trips and long ownership are part of the plan. Mileage today suggests strength, but the truth remains honest. This generation still writes its legacy in real time. However, capability always invites comparison. We're still a new growing channel, and every new subscriber helps us make higher quality videos. Thanks for being part of the journey. Because while this SUV looks premium, drives fierce, and holds tight to the road, questions emerge. Room, scale, big family logic, future-proofing. So then, what happens when a full-size Japanese SUV enters the picture with 8 seats, hybrid torque, and cargo real estate that feels limitless? 8. Nissan Pathfinder, 2025. The 2025 Nissan Pathfinder starts at $37,790 for the base S trim, and it enters the family SUV world with one clear goal: grow bigger, tow harder, and stay dependable without draining your wallet. This is Nissan saying utility first, luxury second, price realistic. Under the hood sits the familiar 3.5-liter V6, putting out 284 horsepower and 259 pound-feet of torque. That engine pairs with a 9-speed automatic, and together they unlock 6,000 pounds of towing when equipped right. That means boats, campers, trailers, no sweat. In this price lane, that tow number still turns heads. Inside, 3 rows give families breathing room. The 2025 refreshed softened road noise, improved suspension comfort, and cleaned up the daily driving feel. Journalists called it calmer, quieter, and easier to live with than the previous generation. That matters when the SUV doubles as a road trip machine and a school run warrior. Early owner feedback paints a realistic picture. Most drivers report solid mechanical behavior when maintenance is consistent. But people also talk. Seat stitching, aging too early, touchscreen hesitation, and infotainment bugs that feel more irritating than alarming. None of this screams danger, but it reminds you this is real life, not a showroom brochure. Nissan tries to soften the deal with 3 complimentary oil changes within 24,000 miles. A small gesture, but one that rivals almost never match at this price. The Pathfinder stands in a reasonable middle ground. Strong heart, big lungs, family bones. But then comes a wild question from left field. Because what happens when the next competitor sells a 3-row SUV under $30,000, yet ends up recalling 198,000 plus units over a software failure that broke something as simple as the rear camera? 7. Mitsubishi Outlander 2025. The 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander starts around $29,000 $645, instantly grabbing attention. 3 rows, modern styling, and a price that feels too low for the feature sheet it carries. That combination is rare, almost suspicious. But Mitsubishi leans into the value argument hard, building this model for families who need space, calm, and common-sense ownership costs. Power comes from a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder, making 181 horsepower and 181 pound-feet of torque, sent through a CVT. No speed show here. The Outlander moves like a planner, not a sprinter. Reviewers say the ride is gentle, composed, and surprisingly quiet, with seats that feel kinder to spines than you expect at this price. Then there's the warranty. Mitsubishi drops a 10-year Labasbile 100,000-mile powertrain promise, one of the longest safety nets in the industry. For people who like peace more than flex, that number alone closes deals. Drivers praise the quiet cabin and soft road manners, but the internet remembers everything. In June 2025, Mitsubishi recalled approximately 198,940 Outlander and Outlander PHEV units, 2022 to 2025, because a software glitch caused the rear-view camera feed to fail, an embarrassing but non-mechanical hiccup. No engine disaster, no transmission implosion, just tech misbehaving at exactly the wrong time. The story here feels human. Strong bones, calm manners, occasional tech drama, massive warranty protection. But now the stakes rise. Because which SUV launches at $33,000 with hybrid ambition, earns early praise, and then blindsides buyers when real ownership costs start climbing far higher than anyone predicted? 6. Subaru Forester, 2025. The 2025 Subaru Forester starts at $34,995, and Subaru keeps the formula simple. Build it safe, practical, durable, and ready for weather. Other SUVs fear. This time, Subaru adds something big. A new hybrid model that reaches 35 miles per gallon combined, a huge win in a segment where fuel economy usually loses the argument. Standard symmetrical all-wheel drive remains non-negotiable for Subaru. Snow, rain, mud, steep trails, it treats them like routine. That system, paired with the 2.5-liter Boxer 4 or the hybrid setup, gives owners the same mechanical structure that made older Foresters hit 300,000 miles on the original drivetrain. You can find forum posts with drivers proving it odometer shot by odometer shot. Quality scores back the hype. J.D. Power rates it 84 out of 100 for reliability and build quality, higher than many rival SUVs that cost more. Owners say the doors close with a confident sound. The switchgear feels honest, and nothing rattles itself loose after a year of bad roads. Motor Trend tested one for 12 straight months with 0 days in the shop. A brag not many SUVs can make without exaggeration. Yes, critics point at the hybrid's 8.6-second 0 to 60 time. It moves like a steady runner, not a sprinter. But most buyers here want longevity over thrill. They want the SUV that survives life, weather, pets, trips, kids, and time. Then the tone shifts. Reliability always carries pressure, because the next legend in line comes from a brand trusted like family, yet recently faced a 206,000 vehicle recall for fuel leaks, and the question lands heavy. Can even the most trusted badge stumble when everything is on the line? 5. Honda Passport, 2025. The 2025 Honda Passport starts at $43,895, a price that tells you immediately, this is not a budget SUV. It aims higher. This is the machine for people who want strength first, flash never. No third row means purpose instead of compromise. More steel in the frame, more room for cargo, more consistency for the long road. Under the hood sits a 3.5-liter V6, with 280 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque, paired to a 9-speed automatic. Sprint numbers land at 0 to 60 in 5.9 seconds, strong for a utility-leaning SUV. It tows 5,000 pounds, enough for trailers, boats, and gear most families never truly stop adding to. Inside, it swallows real life with space. 41.2 cubic feet behind the seats, 77.7 with them folded. Owners describe the cabin with words like solid, predictable, and built for years, not seasons. This is the SUV that looks the same at 120,000 miles as it did at 20,000, minus the dirt it earned honestly. But no reputation goes untested. In 2024, the NHTSA opened an investigation into 205,000 Honda SUVs, including 2023 to 2025 passports, for a potential fuel leak risk. No brand enjoys that headline, but context matters. A recall tests a company's accountability more than its collapse. Honda pushed fixes fast, owners kept driving, and long-term trust stayed largely intact. So the passport holds its ground. Powerful, steady, honest. But now, imagine the jump from reliable to nearly mythical, because the next SUV entered the market with 20-year resale dominance, 35-plus miles per gallon hybrid reputation, and one of the lowest failure rates ever recorded. Yet some owners say its biggest flaw might be excitement, not engineering. How does a vehicle become too reliable to complain about? 4. Toyota Grand Highlander, 2025. The 2025 Toyota Grand Highlander opens at $40,860 according to Toyota's official pricing. That number matters because it buys space for 8 people, a ride that stays quiet at highway speed, and Toyota engineering that historically stacks major miles like a habit. There are 2 power paths here, a 2.4-liter turbo with 265 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque, or the Hybrid Max. That hybrid does not behave politely. It jumps to 362 horsepower and 400 pound-feet. For a family SUV, that is borderline rebellious. Most rivals charge luxury money for numbers like that. Inside, space stops being a compromise. With both rows folded, cargo reaches 97.5 cubic feet. That is small studio apartment volume. Reviewers call the cabin close to luxury and feel. Soft materials, calm acoustics, seats that can survive long drives without argument. Therefore, road trips turn easier, quieter, and far less negotiable. But Toyota meets the same modern chaos every brand faces: complexity. In 2025, a recall hit select models, including the Grand Highlander, for an instrument cluster display malfunction. No engine failures, no drivetrain drama, but a reminder that digital dashboards can strain reliability stories. However, owners still trust Toyota reflexively. The company keeps parts cheap, repairs predictable, and resale value unfair to competitors. Many Toyota 3 rows quietly pass 250,000 plus miles with dignity, not desperation. So the big question hangs heavy. What happens when you mix Japanese build discipline with one of the longest warranty shields in the industry? Yet that same vehicle gets tied to a 206,000 unit fuel system safety investigation? 3. Honda Pilot, 2025. The 2025 Honda Pilot begins at $40,200, but its real value hides under the skin. This SUV carries Honda's 3.5-liter V6, a motor family that has powered heavyweight longevity stories for over a decade. It makes 285 horsepower and 262 pound-feet, connected to a 10-speed automatic that shifts with purpose and predictability. Honda built this one big. 199.9 inches long, 3 rows, 8 seats, and enough interior room to swallow strollers, coolers, sports bags, and sanity. Owners repeatedly say the same thing: it behaves like a machine that wants to last. Road testers praise the steering accuracy, braking confidence, and that unshakable feeling that nothing fragile is hiding under the surface. High-mileage Honda Pilots often cross 200,000 miles on original engines and transmissions with nothing heroic required. Just maintenance, that is it. But in early 2025, a headline cracked the calm. The NHTSA flagged 294,612 Honda vehicles, including 2023 to 2025 pilots, for a software defect that could trigger engine stalls. Not metal fatigue, not mechanical collapse. Software, the modern weak point of strong machines. Even so, most owners met the news with something close to confidence, because Honda fixes issues fast, documents every step, and usually exits the conversation stronger than when it entered. So while the Pilot keeps proving that endurance and practicality can still coexist, the next SUV takes the conversation further. 243 horsepower, 35 miles per gallon combined, and a hybrid reputation that sounds bulletproof. But then everyone asks the same uneasy question about the battery. Does it hold up when the years stack taller than the savings? 2. Toyota Highlander Hybrid, 2025. The 2025 Toyota Highlander Hybrid walks in with a very simple argument: save fuel, keep space, skip drama. It starts with standard all-wheel drive, a 2.5-liter engine, and 3 electric motors working together to make 243 horsepower. On paper, that sounds calm. In real life, it feels smarter than loud. Then comes the big headline number: 35 miles per gallon combined in a 3-row SUV. That means fewer gas stations, fewer deep breaths at the pump, fewer lifestyle compromises. Comparison matters here. Many V6 rivals hover near 22 miles per gallon if the wind is polite, so this feels like Toyota quietly breaking rules without making a speech. Inside, you get seats for 7 or 8 people, soft ride tuning, and Toyota's quiet cabin discipline. Towing lands at 3,500 pounds. Enough for boats, small trailers, brand new weekend hobbies you told yourself you needed. But balance demands honesty. Cargo space behind the third row sits at 16 cubic feet. That is tight. Not deal-breaking, just real. Reliability projections matter more. Consumer Reports predicts it will outlast the average new vehicle class. Toyota history supports that confidence. But here comes the modern twist. Hybrid systems bring efficiency, but also battery reality. Long-term savings often win, but long-term dependency on battery health becomes part of the story. New era rules. Owners already repeat the same line. This is the practical choice that ages well. Quiet, consistent, low stress. The kind of SUV you forget to worry about. But speaking of worry, what do you say about an icon that survived deserts and wars? Then in 2025, sparked owner threads debating unexpected brake noises under 20 miles per hour in early production units? 1. Toyota Land Cruiser, 2025. The 2025 Toyota Land Cruiser does not introduce itself. It assumes you already know the legends. Over 70 years of global abuse tests disguised as real roads. Deserts, mountains, conflict zones, flood belts, and families that treat cup holders like justice systems. This nameplate has history older than most automotive reputations. Now, drop it into 2025. Toyota pairs a 2.4-liter turbo engine with hybrid electrification, producing 326 horsepower and torque estimates, climbing near 465 pound-feet in some configurations. Attached to a body-on-frame chassis, permanent four-wheel drive, crawl control, skid plates, and hardware that expects bad decisions off-road. Then forgive them. Price starts around $58,150, which looks expensive if longevity is not part of your math. But most Land Cruiser owners speak in decades, not payments. Consumer Reports places projected reliability above average for new vehicles. That tracks with history. These are vehicles that hand themselves down. Contractors buy them, explorers bless them. Humanitarian missions depend on them. Inside, the shock is comfort. Modern screens, thick glass for noise suppression, better seats, safer tech. You sit high, quiet, composed. But myth still meets reality. Early owner forums flagged brake noise at low speeds, limited interior storage for its size, and ownership costs that quietly stacked faster than expected. No failures, just friction between expectations and physics. Yet the reason it sits at number 1 stays consistent. Few SUVs get trusted with lifetimes, supply routes, and generational handoffs. Most cars want to survive the warranty. The Land Cruiser wants to survive the owner. Legends like these never end clean. There is always another secret hidden under the miles. Click the next video on your screen right now before it disappears. Another story is waiting for you.